Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we got ourselves a track from an act named Brandon Hixson titled Old Brown Shoe off of the Things We Leave Behind album. And if we switch over to here, we've got ourselves a track on the screen here, the album on the screen on Spotify. We've also got the art for that here. I should note that this is not the first time I've listened through Brandon's music, but it'd be good to check out more. We're going to listen through this track from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's get into it. Old Brown Shoe.
Papa wore a navy coat, sharp as he could be. Meemaw had red lipstick and a smile so sweet to see. They fell in love in Oklahoma.
Very pleasant.
1946. Young and wild and dancing slow to the jukebox hits. Then the Navy took him far away across the ocean blue. But every time he gotta leave back to Waco he flew. Grandma wore another ring, but everybody knew when Papa came back into town, her heart came unglued. There's a bullet in his shoe and a crazy little love story too. Bang bang one hotel night, but their hearts kept holding tight. Oh me, oh my.
It's a beautiful song, eh?
Let me cry. He walked around with proof that true love tells the truth. One jealous man got mighty mad, found out where they'd go. Papa hit the hallway running before the night went wrong. The gun went off, the people screamed, but Papa just kept moving. Next thing you know, he's back at sea, like nothing ever happened.
Oh.
Years rolled by, but he still said one day you'll be mine. And in 1969, she finally was for life. There's a bullet in his shoe since 1952. Doctor said, well, look at this. We just laugh, remembering it. There's a bullet in his shoe. Everybody knew how much those two went through. Some folks carry wedding rings, Papa carried loving. There's a bullet in his shoe and a crazy little love story too. Bang bang one hotel night, but their hearts kept holding tight. Oh me, oh my, love can make you laugh and cry. He walked around with proof that true love tells the truth.
Oh, that's a beautiful chord to finish on. I really dig that one. No, this is a really well-written song. It's one of the best ones I've heard in a while, genuinely. We're going to talk about it more, though, in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Brandon Hixson titled Old Brown Shoe off of the Things We Leave Behind album. In this section, I'm going to provide an overall song analysis of everything from lyrics and vocals all the way through to studio production, as well as any applicable constructive critique. And then finally, my general thoughts from a listener's perspective. But first of all, what do we think this track is about? Well, I should note that I actually have had a bit of a hint from Brandon themselves. They mentioned that it's based on the true story of their grandparents. After the grandfather went back to the Navy, the grandmother divorced them and remarried, but my grandfather would still go and see her. Her current husband then found out and went to shoot them, which was pretty crazy. So it's a kind of a tale of trial and tribulation, you know, the separation, finding new love, things not going to plan, there being some chaos, and people, you know, like the bullet in the shoe is an interesting bit of imagery there. It's a very different story to what I've heard in a lot of situations with tracks nowadays, and I really appreciate when people both try to put their own experiences or lived kind of elements within their pieces, but also try to present it from a different angle, but then they also try and do a lot within the music itself to kind of make it sound like music from the early 20th century though, especially with the brass and the kind of rock and the kind of 50s guitar tones and everything like that, and the kind of jazziness of those chord progressions, especially with that strum that playing near the end. It's just and just the tubas and everything like that. It kind of sounds like a Louisiana band is in the background, but like it's just kind of very pleasant music to listen to despite the drama and the tension within the story that's being told there. It's an interesting tale, and there is just, I think what elevates it is just the vocal performance themselves. Like Brandon's very comfortable in his chest voice, go effortlessly between their falsetto and kind of main sort of meter, very comfortable within their range, and they're very charismatic on the microphone. They effortlessly glide around all these different notes. The legato's tight, and there's also some other elements there which are more sort of rhythmically, they are more comfortable singing with the other instrumental parts. So we both have chemistry, but also know how to stand on our own. But it's also having the backing vocalists from the lady, like the choir, and the kind of male vocals, the kind of doo-wop kind of like styles of music and vocals from that period that they're discussing things back in the 40s and 50s and stuff like that. I adore it. I adore it. I think that it's both reminiscent of the time that the song is describing, but also shows a clear understanding of how to layer and compose vocal parts and how to perform in a way that is both palatable, contemporary, whilst also, just having a firm connection. So things are well connected there. I think structurally the track at 3 minutes is very well fleshed out. You've got a variety of different instruments and elements within there, but like mainly it's verses and choruses. You've got like solo sections and instrumental elements there. You've got seamless transfers between parts, and there's so much going on even in the less like loud parts here with the little bits of intricacy with the composition that you're never disinterested. You never lose the listener's attention. There's a mixture of instruments such as drums, bass, guitar, tuba and brass, piano, horns, etc. And they are all very sort of fragrant in the mix. Not only are they recorded well with a really sort of commercial grade production tone on them, but just the actual signature, the stylization of those instruments I think is very well played as well. Like you have the radio kind of scritching around at the start of the track trying to sort of find its place and meter, trying to figure out what channel to go on. And you got the vocal filtering there to kind of make it seem a lot more kind of old school there before you get led into the full story. But then you have those strings come in, the flurry of strings on the left side there, the romanticism there is just wonderful, but also the articulation of it, the way that's presented, the rhythm and cadence of it alongside the vocals there, and not just having everything in the center of the stereo field. There is a gentle warmth and glow to the guitar parts there that resonates neatly with the extensions and some of those bar chords that we're playing there, and the gentle arpeggios are the icing on the cake on top of that. You've also got a crispiness with some of the overdriven kind of gain parts there, not too heavy with the distortion because why would we need it? This isn't that kind of edge. We're not trying to be too kind of like caustic with it. But there's also like some wonderful drum fills there. We're comfortable with the kind of onbeat and syncopated elements here. Some of the cymbals coming in with almost kind of like a dubbish feel occasionally. It's also tight with the snare grooves and transitions. And there's also some like kind of ghost notish kind of 16ths there with a shuffle, which is cool as well, as shuffles were a big thing back then, with the kind of jazzy influences in the swing. And you've got again like the brass, the tuba and the low end there kind of highlighting the root notes there and being a great accompaniment to the bass there, just making it seem like a bigger band than just a couple of instruments. And you've got like other guitar lines such as around the 45-second mark like dancing around the sides, and when you couple with everything else that I mentioned, it's quite a full sounding track. And you've got like some wonderful moments again of like chemistry and cohesion with the instrumental and vocal parts as around like the backing lady vocalists with the breathy harmonies there, with the do like in the falsetto there, with the guitar lines in unison with those. It's just really neat how peppy and sort of like vivacious it is. To have like everything come to a stop kind of at that 2-minute mark for that low key moment there where things go a bit quiet and less kind of heavy is just nice for a moment of perspective, and it's kind of poignant. And like you go back into everything with like some sort of snare rolls as well, which is kind of cool, which kind of has a nice connection to the Navy band or something like that, you know, the military brass playing snares. But like, we're so colorful with the way that we do these vocal passages over top. We dance a lot, and even though the vocals are the main focal point, like the instruments are cool as well, but you kind of feel like everything's playing an equal part. Nothing is like lacking. And I didn't really kind of spend much time on that solo section with the guitars there, playing some kind of really neat little melodies that offer a little bit of a connection to the vocal parts instantiated, but also kind of do their own thing whilst the brass jumps around it, kind of bumps around it. It's a very fun rhythm and sort of phrasing to it. It's very kind of staccatoed and a bit kind of bouncy there, and it's just it wants to be there. All of the instruments want to be there. And you end the track at 3 minutes having lived this entire massive experience with moments where the vocals are just by themselves, and it's almost sort of like surreal how much space there is without everything else. But you both appreciate when there is and when there aren't accompaniments. The vocals are good either way. So structurally and in terms of the performance itself, with a variety of different rhythms, melodies, and harmonies, the way things are notched and how intricate the composition are, you know, like effectively it's a very well-written track. But then you've also just got thematically a major leaning to it, but like because of the different instruments that are chosen, including again those keys at the end with a very kind of gentle seventh chord that's arpeggiated with the guitar strummed at the end there to kind of fade things out. You've got a piece there that's kind of, again, it's majorish, but it's kind of it's trying to keep you upbeat whilst it works through something. It's like it's leading towards a more positive outcome, but it's discussing how life was at that point in time, maybe whether through rose tinted spectacles or otherwise. Yeah, just a nice sort of thump to the drums, a steady groove and tempo, and not out of place for the performance. And I think that if you'd gone for a minor key with this, it might have just been a bit too blunt and leaned on the negative. I think this was a kind of nice floaty approach to it. No, sensible was a mature take. Studio recording, mixing, and mastering in general was very, very good. It was commercial grade. The vocals, the guitar, bass, drums, pianos there, you know, like all the other instruments, the strings as well, the way they are positioned around the stereo field, mostly symmetrically, occasionally asymmetrically, like some things appear on one side or the other was very cool. Things were niched nicely within the frequency spectrum. There weren't any resonant frequencies. There was dynamic range to it, a phenomenal amount. Like at the start, there was nice use of filtering, like with like the NFX kind of processing, such as with the radio filter at the start and the way the vocals were processed there. Nice and loud, but a pumping, bus compression, limiting is handled. It's just, you know, very well glued, tightly compressed, but not too much. No applicable constructive critique for me. And from a final generalist perspective, I just wholeheartedly encourage anyone that is producing music to continue to try and, like, you know, keep stories that they put in their music personable, whilst also trying to just approach from a different angle. But also, I think what we can learn from this track is that we want to sort of try and do things where we kind of harken back to the time that we were talking about, because that helps to kind of anchor it in that and provide a further sort of connection to it. Ultimately, I think there are a lot of things done really well here, and I wish Brandon all the best in luck in future with their music, because thank you for watching my review of this track from an ex named Brandon Hixson off the Things We Leave Behind album, the song titled Old Brown Shoe, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show them some love via the various social medias and the Spotify page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than able to the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.